Hey friends, welcome back to Jenny Food and My Kitchen. Little girl is back in school, and in this house, that means that Saturday mornings are once again a thing. It is the only day that we get to wake up when we want to. I get to enjoy a slow cup of coffee, if you know what I'm saying. And then we gather around the table with a wonderful breakfast that we never have time for during the week. Today, I'm going to share with you one of my husband's favorite Saturday morning dishes. In fact, it is the dish that we eat on Christmas morning, and that is homemade buttermilk biscuits with his mom's chocolate gravy recipe. Let's do this. All right, I've got our ingredients ready for our buttermilk biscuits. We only need 3 for this recipe: self-rising flour, some good cold buttermilk, and a stick of butter that has been in the freezer for about an hour or 2 just to kind of firm up, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So into a small bowl, we just need 2 cups of self-rising flour. Now I don't put these in a canister, so you just kind of want to fluff your flour a little bit. All right, there's 1. All right, that looks like a good 2. So 2 cups of self-rising flour, and then to that we are going to add the stick of butter. Now, I learned this trick from another channel, Granny Joe Savvy Sweet, where you take the butter and you grate it right into, I'm just going to set it right in there, you grate it right into your flour. And just that cold butter, number 1, it breaks off in little tiny pieces, and it stays cold when you go ahead and you put these into the oven. And that's what you want, because that's what creates those little pockets inside the biscuits. Oh, it's going to be so good. I tried making biscuits for years, and I just could not. My biscuits were always tough, or they didn't rise. When I tried this recipe, this is the most consistently good biscuits that have turned out for me. I have found that if my biscuits are too tough, it's probably me being a little heavy-handed with the flour. So I try not to knead them too much, and I try not to add too much flour, more than the 2 cups, maybe just a little bit for the board so they don't stick. But other than that, you want kind of a sticky dough. All right, we've got all of our butter grated into that. Just get all of that off. And then we are going to add just a cup of buttermilk. Whoops. And yes, I'm already dirty. All right, 1 cup of buttermilk. I'm just going to use my dough whisk, which if you don't have one of these, you want to get one. These are so much nicer than, like, if you use a regular whisk, you have to get all that out of all the little metal parts of the whisk. This just makes things easier when you're all done and you want to go ahead and clean that off. Now, we have got our biscuit dough together. I am just going to take my hands, which are clean, and I'm just going to kind of fold those into the rest of that flour that's at the bottom. Kind of make sure it's completely coated and all that flour is soaked up. Now, I'm just going to get a little bit of that flour, and I'm going to put it right on my island here. Our dough is ready to kind of press. I've got my rolling pin here. I'm just going to kind of roll those into about 1 inch thick or so. And it doesn't have to be any shape because we're going to cut them out anyways. And then we're going to place them right on our baking sheet. Now, I have a couple different sizes. My smaller size, I usually get about 7 or 8. I'm not sure exactly how many biscuits we'll get, but maybe 6. or 7. All right. And then we're just going to kind of reform that. Give it a little roll. Make it smooth. There's 6. Maybe we'll get 8. Come on. There's 7. And then this last, let's see. I need a little bit of flour on that. Maybe we'll get 9. All right. And then this last one, we're just going to kind of form it into a ball, and then kind of just smash it. Ooh, that's... All right, so that made 9 biscuits. I am going to go ahead and put these in my preheated oven at 450 for 15 minutes, and then we will check them and go from there. While our biscuits are finishing, we are going to go ahead and make that chocolate gravy. Now, it starts with 3/4 cup sugar, and then 1/4 cup water. This is so easy, just 4 ingredients. And then 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now again, this is not the pudding gravy that a lot of people make. I've seen online. This is a thin, kind of more like almost like a chocolate sauce than a gravy. All right, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And then we are just going to add 2 teaspoons of flour. Now, the trick to this gravy, as I have learned, is you do not want to overcook this. It takes, this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm going to use 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. You only boil this for 1 minute. If you boil it for longer than 1 minute, which I've learned the hard way, it will harden. So you want to really watch it while you're cooking it and just keep stirring it. And then once it boils for just a minute, cut the heat and it's ready to go over your biscuits. Let's do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of whiz that up together. Now, once that's all mixed, I've got my heat on high, and we are going to kind of let that boil and bubble for 1 minute, and then we will pull it off the stove. All right, as you can see, this is boiling, and we've got 27 seconds on the clock. And so once that's done, we will pull it off the heat, let it cool for just a minute, and add it to our biscuits. Friends, our biscuits are completely done, and those turned out nice. Now, I think I might have rolled them just a little bit too thin, but I know they're tasty because I tried one off camera. So I am going to go ahead. I mean, look at that ridge. And look at all those crags and holes. That is what you want in a buttermilk biscuit. So I am just going to lay my biscuit on my plate. My husband is not home right now, or he would be in here like begging to be the tester today. All right, I am going to drizzle some of that chocolate sauce over my biscuits. That looks good. And it's not super thick, but obviously it's thick enough to coat a spoon. So, I mean, it is gravy texture, correct? All right, I'm gonna give this a taste. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? All right, going in. Chocolate gravy with biscuits. That is my husband's favorite breakfast. I will say that is pretty darn good. I'm not usually one that gets into the chocolate and biscuits on Christmas morning, but my grandkids love it. And rightfully so. That is really good. Friends, I just want to thank you for all your love and support. And remember, if you grew up on chocolate gravy and biscuits, and if it was that thick pudding or kind of something thinner like this, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see how many people grew up eating chocolate gravy and biscuits. So we will see you with another breakfast treat next week. So stay tuned. Bye for now, friends.